So a while back, I made a short about Rey Dau versus Diablos, and it was probably one of the few things probably one of the few shorts I actually enjoyed, talking about how the fight was a lot closer than people would have thought, especially with the speed and agility of Rey Dau going against the strength and durability of Rathlos. But only doing for a minute just didn't feel satisfying to me. And I thought, why not actually make a full video detailing on why this is a lot closer than people think and how both sides really fare against each other. Because believe it or not, there are some things that could easily make them or even put them close to the Elder Dragon levels of strength. But before we really begin this here, I want to explain a few rules, right? We will not be using any Apex Diablos, Bloodbath Diablos, or Black Diablos. This is going to be strictly a Prime Bull Diablos. And you're going to understand why I say that, because Diablos are a lot stronger, or male Diablos are a lot stronger than people give them credit for. Next off, we're going to put them in their natural environment, okay, so the desert, and we're going to be putting them at their full power, full aggression, full everything. And then we're going to see who gets the first win more often than not. The reason why I'm doing this is because, again, we have to see who wins the first round. The first round usually determines who can get the most wins, especially when it comes to Monster Hunter in, like, certain scenarios. Most turf wars end in a draw. Most turf wars end in, well, one-sided beatdowns. And then most other turf wars just simply, end win, or at least give in terms of predation, I should say. Most turf wars are actually predation turf wars, or simply predator hunting interactions, or prey defending themselves and stuff like that. So with that being said, here, please comment down below, like and subscribe and share it with your friends. Also enjoy the gameplay as well, because me and my team did straight up just, well, cook this team, and that was because I did have to kind of carry on that one. But hey, with that being said, here, let's begin. Starting off with the likes of Rey Dau, the Thundering Emperor, as I call him. This dude was actually one of the best hype-ups in the game, especially when you find out that the Alpha Deshagma is just simply no match for this guy. Imagine becoming the alpha of your pack and you still mean nothing to the apex of your region. Crazy work, right? Now, Rey Dau himself is actually impressive physically, being able to somewhat match Arc Veld in his base levels, and then straight up overpowering and dominating Seragios, which is someone that's actually been able to drop kick the likes of Rathians, which, physically speaking, are some of the strongest sub-apexes out there, believe it or not. Even being able to dominate and bully the likes of Anjanath. So again, that does, speak volumes and stuff like that. But then you also have Rey Dau's electrical capabilities. Rey Dau's electrical capabilities actually seem to be up there with Kieran, believe it or not, especially with the Fulgurite on. By the way, we are using a full Fulgurite Rey Dau here, because I do feel like it's just a lot better and a lot more fair. And keep in mind, this does mean a lot of the electrical attacks will be coming in, because Rey Dau does use its wings a lot in combat. It's kind of his in all honesty, it's his go-to, so that could possibly come into factor in this battle. With him utilizing his wings in combat, even when they're not full power, they're still able to match the likes of Arc Veld when they clash with each other repeatedly. And keep in mind, Arc Veld's whips have been able to restrain the likes of Uthaduna and New Udra, apparently, and even Gormagala. So Rey Dau being able to, hold his own and actually withstand the blows from these whips as well, it's actually a pretty good feat when you look at it. Now, keep in mind as well, Rey Dau's durability is actually lower than the rest of the other apexes. I think Uthaduna is actually the tankiest, and the second one is New Udra. And Rey Dau apparently actually has the lowest durability of the three apexes. However, he is likely the most powerful in terms of his elemental abilities, with the railgun actually being able to hit the sand so hard that it actually turns into Fulgurite, meaning he can produce more. And keep in mind, with his tail and wings coated in it, he can actually use electrical attacks along with his base level attacks as well. And his railgun is twice, if not 10 times more powerful, to the point where it'll likely one-shot and kill a large majority of the monsters that it would honestly use it against. Because again, I do feel like if Arc Veil did not have energy absorption, or element absorption, I should say, then we definitely would have had a different situation for the likes of Arc Veil in this game. Likely just shot with a rail gun in the face and just ended it right then and there. So with that being said, that actually covers it for Rey Dau. But let's move on to his opponent, Diablos. Now let's go over to the Glaze Fest that is Diablos. Yes, I'm about to be glazing my glorious tyrant of the dunes himself. Nah, I'm joking. But again, we are going to have to talk about some stuff here. So here's the fun thing I found out, right? Devil Joe actually targets young male Diabloses. Yeah, it's actually true. In the game, in the lore, I should say, excuse me, he's actually targeting the younger, less experienced males, not fully grown adults. And this is important because Devil Joe, and again, I'm not including Savage, mind you, do not go after black Diabloses, like, at all. They cannot handle their aggression. They can't handle them like a physical fight, right? So in order to get the cheeks from a black Diablos, right, which are the females simply in heat, and probably one of the biggest menaces in game, mind you. So you're getting beaten up by a horny Diablos, dear Lord. I feel embarrassed now. So in order to get the cheeks, as I said earlier, male Diabloses have to be in their prime in order to do this. They have to be at the peak of their strength in order to actually be able to beat a female Diablos and secure the cheese. Because after that, she like, hey, you won. Here's your reward, right? And here's the funny thing. There are actually much bigger Diabloses in the old world. Yeah, I'm not kidding. They're meant to be like much larger than what we see them as. So things like golden crowns and stuff like that would actually be canon. But then there's bigger ones known as crimson Diabloses that are just simply walking around the more forbidden areas of the desert, likely off restriction or restricted hunts, okay? So kind of like male Gammas. Yeah, you don't go near those guys. But again, Diablos' feats of strength are absolutely ridiculous. Flipping an Eldelt Glavenus and Eldelt Fulgor Anjanath over its head, absolutely ridiculous in terms of strength, right? Then even in like compromised positions, such as when they're burrowing underground, they can still send a regular Anjanath and bear off flying. Keep in mind, they bully bear off constantly, and it's just like, dude, there's got to be another ant mound somewhere else. You ain't got to do that. And again, with the fact that they are pretty much the dominant herbivore in the region, the dominant apex, and they are herbivores here, this would mean they are capable of bullying and likely overpowering the likes of Ebonio Dolgorons and even Tigerexes. Also, I find it funny how we never had a Tigerex versus Diablos turf war. And they've been in the same game for like years. We never got like turf wars. I understand the turf wars kind of came a thing in World and stuff like that and stuff, but we could have actually had one by now. And while it's possible, it's also likely they do kind of scare off Seragioses, or Seragioses just simply don't go near them at all, which I wouldn't blame them. I mean, what is Seragios going to really do to the likes of a Diablos? Like, these guys bully much larger monsters than them on a daily, and smaller monsters just really give them a wide berth. So not only is this thing a lot stronger than we give it credit for, it's very possible that a fully grown adult Diablos in their prime might be an Elder Dragon level monster when you think about it. But hey, that's enough for here. Let's actually go to the results. Well, now we are here. The end results of this. Who wins more often than not? Diablos versus Rey Dau. Now, the advantages for them are pretty simple. Diablos is physically stronger, more durable, has faster ground speed, and has a better defense, with him being able to burrow beneath the sand, which likely can help him evade a few of Rey Dau's lightning blasts. And this is where Rey Dau also has the speed, agility, hexes, and likely the intelligence as well, considering how crafty he can be with these lightning blasts. Plus, I do think we do need a monster that actually utilizes his intelligence more, just as much as it hexes, just to kind of, challenge the hunter a little bit more, right? And, well, believe it or not, this is why this fight is pretty close. Yeah, I actually do think that Rey Dau is able to at least avoid or evade the likes of evade the likes of Diablos especially when he gets to the air, right? However, if Rey Dau gets close once, it's a wrap. It really is. Because Rey Dau going for a wing clash against Diablos, who just physically has more bulk than Arcveld, and would likely just, tunnel him into the ground. Yes, he will do that. He's done it to Barroth. Like we all saw the Monster Hunter World intro, right? Where he just simply just John Cena's or Batista bombs the likes of a Diablo. So Diablos is not far above doing some really sneaky and deceptive stuff, like actually going into a clash, but utilizing his forward weight to just bury Rey Dau into the ground. And if that happens, it's GG's. I don't care how much electrical power Rey Dau has, it's getting snuffed out in the ground. It really is probably evenly distributed as well. If not, this might make it worse for him. Because imagine Rey Dau being buried beneath the ground, and then he unleashes his electricity, and it just creates a barrier around him and Arcveld, just kind of like putting a fulgurite, like solid ground beneath him. And then, what after that, I just kind of think Rey Dau's just going to like run through him with those horns. And again, I do feel like Rey Dau can defend himself from Diablo's horns with the bladed parts of his wings, especially if they're covered in fulgurite, which would actually make the situation a lot more better, in my opinion. It would make it a lot better for Rey Dau to withstand a lot of the clashes with Diablo's horns. Now, in terms of what Rey Dau could do, he could likely range bomb Diablos for a good bit. And in all honesty, I feel like that would be his best way to win. If he goes for like a full powered railgun, I actually don't see Diablos just standing there and withstanding it. He's not going to pull in Arcveld. He'll likely just tunnel and then likely circle around Rey Dau beneath the sand. And keep in mind, Diablos can jump pretty high too. They can jump. They got that aerial. They got that vertic and stuff. They can play in the NBA and stuff like that. They got it all good for them. And the funny part is, if Rey Dau decides to like burrow beneath the ground and straight up just wait and then just jump right into the air just to grab Rey Dau, it's very possible, especially given the fact that Rey Daus don't seem to really fly that high when we fight them. And then there's also the fact that I guess you could honestly factor in stamina. Rey Dau does have a lot more. They don't get tired as, much. They don't get tired to the same extent as the likes of a lot of other monsters do. They have some impeccable stamina. Meanwhile, Rey Dau, with him actually being the less durable of the main three apexes, this does mean he can tire out a lot quicker. Plus, again, if this fight starts on the ground, it starts in close quarters combat, I do think I would give it to Diablos a lot more. Even at the full power that Rey Dau is at, I think Diablos is simply overwhelming, especially giving them full-blown aggression and full rage, or full, actually, no, it is right. Full aggression, stuff like that. If we give them that, Diablos is hounding Rey Dau before he can even fly. I could actually see this kind of playing out like how he gets Rathian, possibly burrowing beneath the ground, and as soon as Rey Dau simply like lands, he gets caught by the ankle and then just power slammed into the ground. At that point, it's kind of wraps here. But again, Rey Dau can also win if he just keeps himself in the air. If he doesn't come down, if he doesn't try a physical fight, then he's got it. But again, he's going to have to use that railgun very strategically. So, yeah, I think that kind of just covers it. But again, who wins the fight more often than not? Believe it or not, I got to give it to Diablos. Yeah, I do. I got to give it to the GOAT here. You see, the thing is, though, it's going to start off as a close quarters fight. And I feel like that's just how it's going to go at the very beginning. If Rey Dau simply avoids that, then he has a very good chance at honestly winning. But again, the problem here is Rey Dau, just simply, he goes for like close quarters combat at the very beginning of just about everything. If he simply avoids that, then he's got it. I really do believe he's got it more often than not. But when it comes down to like a first time encounter, I actually do see Diablos winning. But that's going to be all for today, you guys. And yeah, you guys have a blessed day.